on this hour 18, the cautious road to reopening Illinois and the likelihood the state will move to phase 4 on June 26th.
Today, the state's leading public health expert spoke only to CBS 2 about moving forward and having to make tough decisions. Our Hour 18 team is looking at when we can expect more to open back up. We begin with our Vince Girasoli. Vince.
Brad and Erica, Dr. Ngozi Ezike is the director of the Illinois Department of Public Health, and she is upbeat about the state moving forward with reopening to stage 4 in just a matter of weeks. But that optimism comes after guiding the state through some very grim times, moments that understandably weighed on her. Illinois is gradually opening up, but in the age of COVID-19, the state's top doctor is still watching the numbers.
We have to still be cautious so that we don't reverse some of the gains that we made. Good afternoon, everyone.
We got to know Dr. Ngozi Ezike, director of the Illinois Department of Public Health, from her almost daily briefings during the height of the COVID-19 crisis.
We really flattened that curve, now on the descent.
Since the state moved to phase 3 on May 29th, Ezike can point to numbers like these. The positivity rate in Northeast Illinois has dropped to roughly 8%, which is a 40% decline. Also, about 39% of the region's ICU beds are available now, and that's a 19% increase.
All of the benefits we're seeing now are because of the enormous sacrifices that people made to stand down and stay home and shelter in place and minimize their activity.
But the road there included weighty public health responsibilities.
Personally, doctor, what was the most difficult moment for you?
I think when the deaths started occurring, I was taking them personally and feeling like, oh, how is it that I couldn't prevent these? And then the numbers just grew and grew. Every life lost is such a severe tragedy, but I'm trying to look forward to see how we can prevent additional lives from being lost.
In recent weeks, there have been mass gatherings of protests and marches. Ezike encourages those who attended to get a free COVID-19 test, but so far there hasn't been a spike in cases. The data still needs to be watched carefully.
Could we have dodged a bullet, or is there still concern?
A lot of factors at play. I have to stress how much we're still learning about this virus.
Other people are still apprehensive to go outside.
Sure.
What would you say to them?
I don't mind people being cautious, but we also have to try to move forward.
Are we ready to move to phase 4?
With the guidelines that we had set out, we potentially could be moving on to phase 4 in 2 weeks. That's where the masking comes in. That's where the social distancing comes in. Buenas tardes.
Ezike also communicated daily with the state's Spanish-speaking population. In college, she became fluent in 5 languages.
I remember, my father saying, "You're going to be a doctor. What is all this?" And so I always think that, my father's probably looking down from heaven and smiling and saying, "Oh, I guess this did help you in your career."
I think he was right. Okay, let's talk again about those mass gatherings. Dr. Ngozi Ezike did say that she still needs to look at the data. She's encouraging everyone to get tested, but she's encouraged by the fact that Illinois residents did such a good job of staying at home, and also they did such a good job of wearing masks at many of the protests in recent weeks. She says perhaps that has softened the impact of those mass gatherings, but she still needs to look closely at the data, and once again, she's encouraging everyone to get a test, and those tests are made available free now throughout the state.
Vince, so what's the dynamic like between Dr. Ezike and Governor Pritzker? We see them at those press conferences. We know they work so closely together.
All right, so I found this interesting. She says she's in touch with her counterparts in other states, and they kind of share notes on their bosses. Those are my words, not hers. But she says she's extremely fortunate to work for a governor that pays careful attention to the science and to the data and has based all his information on the science, and they work closely together, and together they're going to continue to watch how things develop here in the state of Illinois as we slowly reopen. And also, she speaks French, she speaks Spanish, and also Swahili.
Wow, that's a lot. Very talented, smart woman. Thank you, Vince.